The Last of Us Part 1 is getting a remake in September, and for one of the most celebrated games in recent memory, you'd expect nothing but positivity toward this announcement. Unfortunately, some aspects of the release have garnered a mixed response, which in turn has led to an ongoing debate. To tell you the truth, this is not a video I intended to make. However, after discussing this subject with a close friend of mine, I realized I had something to say on the subject. The Last of Us, as a franchise, has remained largely a widespread success since the first game released back in 2013. This first title received nearly universal praise from gaming fans upon its release. The game's sequel drew a far more polarized response from the gaming audience in 2020. However, with a new online mode set to release in 2023 and a TV adaptation on the way, there seems to be no immediate end to its popularity. This begs the question: what could possibly cause the remake of one of the most beloved games of the last decade to be so controversial? As it turns out, it's several things. Upon hearing the game would be receiving updates in more than a strictly visual manner, fans were eager to see the advanced combat mechanics of the second game take a front seat in this remake of the original. As it happens, the second game did add a nice slew of quality of life adjustments to the first game's combat design. This, along with visuals, were among the most praised aspects of the sequel. So it's no surprise gamers would want a remake of the first game to take full advantage of this upgrade. While some minimal aspects of gameplay are being tweaked, popular features such as dodge and going prone are not making the trip from Last of Us Part 2, much to the disappointment of fans. The multiplayer mode Factions for the original game has been cut for the remake, though this is likely due to a new Last of Us online mode releasing separately in 2023. Regardless, cutting content in a remake is always sure to draw scowls and disappointment from some people. It's inevitable. So what you're really getting in this remake is the story from The Last of Us and its accompanying DLC expansion Left Behind, remastered for the PS5 with a Last of Us Part 2 facelift, alongside a few quality of life improvements to AI, environments, effects, and audio. Now, nothing I've mentioned thus far is really a game breaker, so what has really got people riled up? Well, after the game was announced, it was discovered the game would be slapped with a $70 price tag. This is standard operating procedure for Sony, who have implemented a new policy regarding their PlayStation 5 exclusives. On its own, $70 for a new game is something of a norm for PlayStation fans over the last 2 years. However, when you consider The Last of Us is a 9-year-old game, which was already remastered a year later in 2014 for the PS4, it doesn't seem to make sense to many people. Why should they pay the 2022 price for a brand new AAA game, when The Last of Us Part 1 is just a fancy remaster for the PS5? It's still the same game from 2013, it's not a brand new story. It doesn't have completely altered gameplay or levels to accompany its new release. So, other than a gorgeous facelift and quality of life adjustments, what else is here to warrant such a hefty asking price? Not only are Sony asking their players to pay more for the game than when it launched nearly a decade ago, but they are also giving the players less than they got a decade ago. Cutting multiplayer from the game and charging more is not pro-consumer. It's greedy. And when gaming fans started to call out this move as a cash grab of sorts, developers took to Twitter to suggest that because the game is designed to look as good as The Last of Us Part 2 in its meticulous detail, the remake could not possibly be a cash grab. Here's the thing. A game can still be of superior quality and look breathtaking, while also being overpriced. Those two things aren't mutually exclusive. The Last of Us Part 1 is probably going to look stunning and be just as amazing as it always was. However, it is highly anti-consumer for Sony to knowingly remove an entire game mode while having the audacity to not only have players pay the same price as before, but to actually ask for more. It doesn't matter if a new online mode is scheduled to release next year. That's irrelevant. The Last of Us Part 1 is missing content, and we're expected to just blindly say, oh well, that's okay, Sony. Please charge us more while giving us less. Honestly, this remake should cost people no more than $40 or $50 tops. That's it. That's as much as anyone should have to pay for this third release of a 9-year-old game. I don't care how pretty it looks. Personally, I'm gonna wait until the game comes down in price before I even touch it. I guess what's shocking to me is that there are people literally doing anything to find excuses to justify why this type of price point is perfectly fine. It's pretty simple. Giving people less value and asking more money for it is literally part of what makes something a cash grab. Now, to be fair, I'm not going to try and convince people this PS5 remaster is not going to be worth playing. I'm certain it's going to look amazing and feel thoroughly enjoyable from start to finish. That aspect of this discussion has never been in question. But the developers need to understand that no matter how much they view their work as a form of art, it's also a product. And like any other product, it's a matter of value proposition. How much content is the player getting out of this purchase? Is it more or less than before? If it's less, then the value goes down, and the price should reflect that. For a PS5 remake or remaster of an 8 to 9-year-old game with only minor changes and a visual upgrade, a $40 to $50 price tag is more than fair. The fact that this is even a controversial take is astonishing to me. Look back at Gears of War Ultimate Edition from 2015. That game featured completely overhauled graphics while also including all of the original game's content, both the campaign and multiplayer modes. Guess what? Coalition didn't ask people to pay $60, which was the standard AAA price of the time. The game launched at $40. It's so frustrating that something as simple as a remaster, which should be nothing more than a layup for Sony and Naughty Dog, has become this whole crazy debacle. I don't understand why it's considered bad to hold game studios and publishers to a certain standard. It really makes no sense to me. But what about you? Be sure to let me know what you all think in the comments section down below. Thank you so much for watching this video, I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed watching, I ask that you would consider subscribing, liking the video, and clicking that little bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any new videos as soon as they drop. Thank you so much, and have yourself a great day.